Good evening, this is the Oscar Expert here with Brother Bro. We are reviewing Knives Out, a mystery comedy from Rian Johnson. Very unusual to see a film that's so dedicated to being a flat-out fun mystery. How many movies do we see like this? Not very many. I think this will go down as one of the best mysteries that film has to offer, especially original mysteries. The story's typical, large, wealthy home with a giant family. Somebody dies, and there's a mystery. They're investigating who did it. We don't know who did it. That's why you watch the movie. It's a really risky genre. You have to not be predictable. You have to not be cliche. And then if you somehow do those things and keep people actually mystified and actually wondering what's going to happen, then your movie is good. And this movie did an excellent job at those things. And therefore, this movie is good. I think this movie really works because Rian Johnson, he knows why you're here. You want to have a good time. You want to be taken on a little roller coaster. Rian Johnson is not hiding behind any fake drama. This comedy film features a lot of quirky characters. Daniel Craig is a straight up mystery cliche, but the film owns those caricatures and it makes it part of the fun. Part of the reason it works, you actually do have that balance with Ana de Armas' character playing a more straight character who has more real emotions and embraces the genre in such a head-on way. The person who died is a mystery writer. The house is straight out of the Clue game. The movie is definitely setting itself up to be a twist movie, but those don't happen in the sequence that you think it's going to. Very early on, the movie subverts all of your expectations. Instead of trying to feed you exactly what the genre is supposed to give you, it gives you a different sort of story. Maybe that does sacrifice a bigger reveal in the end. It didn't feel like the Usual Suspects thing where it's everything up to the end, nothing, and then finally the ending hits and it all comes together. It didn't really do that, but it was in service of creating a story that was very different. It's like a Cube Runner where it's somehow there's all these cliches you could be oh yeah, could do this, and it's somehow weaving in between them and just not hitting any of the cliches, going into any of those little pits that you might expect it to. And at the same time, I got that whole mystery thrill out of it. I really had a great time watching this movie. It's very well curated to every detail that happens. It seems like a screenplay that has had many drafts. There's just no reason not to like this movie. This is everything you would want. Isn't this what you want? This is what you want. Ana de Armas is the standout of the film. Through her character, you get heightened stakes that make the film more compelling than just finding out what's happening in the mystery. I really enjoyed Daniel Craig's performance. I feel like he's the standout in how funny he is. He's a lot more than James Bond, folks. He needs to surprise me more. I like being surprised by Daniel Craig. I also will like Toni Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis in this movie. Ana de Armas, this was just the right way to do the movie, I think, with creating a colorful, fun, entertaining cast. Does this get a SAG Ensemble nomination goal? I think it really might. It's an ensemble movie. Everybody plays off each other. They're all characters with their own distinct personalities. They almost feel like video game characters. They all have a certain way they dress, they have props, and it's just very fun that way. It doesn't need to get nominated for SAG Ensemble, especially because it won't get any other nominations there. I don't see any of the supporting cast being nominated at all. Even Daniel Craig, as good as he is, just because he's not more than one dimension. The movie definitely owns the one-dimensional characters. It's not pretending to be anything that it's not, which is also really refreshing because, I think back to other films like Side Effects, a film that had a lot of twists in the end that just ended up convoluting the movie and didn't work for the characters, but this film takes its characters just seriously enough that the twists can work playfully around them instead of cutting through them. I also felt like this movie started out where you really have to pay attention. It's complicated, but it wasn't so heady and hard to figure out that I couldn't follow the plot. And I'm actually not the best at following plots. I had no problem being right there with everything. The first 20 minutes are probably the hardest to follow, but after that things get simpler. Nobody's gonna have a hard time following along with this movie. In fact, the end of the film, I don't really think there's even a lot to discuss. In a way, it was slightly disappointing to have no real ambiguity or questions about the film. For all the uniqueness that it holds in a lot of the middle of the film, the twists at the end feel very definitive. They're explained in like a long sequence of exposition, which, you know, in this movie, I don't have a problem with exposition. At the same time, I felt like it gave away like half of the plot within this exposition block. Maybe that's something that Rian Johnson could have figured out a way to incorporate into something where the characters are like doing things.
Yeah, I'd say the ending felt a little anticlimactic. Yes, you figure everything out and it's explained to you, but, you know, it's not the highest point of drama in the movie. It doesn't give you that, like, Usual Suspects, like, oh my god, ending. That was maybe the one criticism I'd have for this movie that otherwise I feel like is everything you'd want bundled up in a mystery movie. Where there's a little sprinkle, little decoration on top, cherry, is actually that there is a little bit of like a theme going on with old money and like white America, which is like interesting how they deliver it by the end of the movie. It doesn't feel like they forced it to go in that direction, which I like. Some people seem to be thinking it was like forced, but I think the movie is just pointing out like old money is not something anybody should necessarily be entitled to.
Yeah, but this isn't like Us or Parasite or anything like that.
No,
I think
it's not a
mostly
deep thing.
It's
No.
not like politics invading liberal Hollywood or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, you can calm down. It's not like that.
Yeah.
I don't really have like many bad things. I was really entertained. I would definitely recommend going to see this movie.
And to
I would
laugh.
give it a 9. Like you're gonna be like a little surprised. You're like, oh
No, I knew you-
'cause
I knew
gave
it
it
was
like
coming.
you're gonna give it like an 8 or a 7.
Well, I knew the night was coming. I will say, in general, on mystery movies, I tend not to love twists. They set all this stuff up just so they could explain it, and then have you go, you set it up to explain it. This movie does that a little bit, but there was a lot else that was just working really well, and I liked it a lot more than most films that build themselves around a twist ending. As a mystery film, if you want to see a mystery comedy, like, my goodness, this is the movie for you. I will give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing.
Share with us your coolest collector's or hunting knife in the comments.